Hi everyone, my name is Rebecca Rawls, and please forgive me first for filming this in my car. My roommate is undergoing rehearsals for an upcoming, concert, so it's a little bit quiet in here. But anyway, so my sales technique video will be on the verbals and non-verbals of negotiation and even the overall job process. It's going to go into how these verbals and your body language will either make or break your interview experience and your ability to negotiate properly. So let's get started. So first I want to talk about the importance of your body language, and some will argue that body language is actually more important than what you're actually saying, which is kind of crazy when you think about, because you think your words would demonstrate perfectly what you want to communicate, but it doesn't. If your body language is contradicting your words, then you're gonna have no credibility to what you're saying, and it's really gonna put off an interviewer or whatever you're trying to negotiate. Just not going to give you any trust factor or any genuine. Secondly, your body language and your nonverbals are the first thing that an interviewer is going to notice about you. When you walk in, it's the way you walk, it's the way you smile, it's if you even smile, and it's just everything about you that they notice first before you start speaking that is going to give that first impression that is so important to nail, because honestly it's usually the make or break of any interview process. First nonverbal factor I want to talk about is confidence. And confidence is so huge in interviews because nobody wants to hire somebody that is unconfident in themselves. If you're unconfident in yourself, then you're not going to be able to do your work properly. You're going to always be second guessing yourself, and it's just not a good person to hire. I am a firm believer in the saying that you can get anyone to believe you if you say something with confidence. You can get them to believe the biggest lie. And not saying that you should lie during your interviews, but something that you may want to stretch, like your ability to communicate with guests, or it's something you may lack in. If you say confidently that you do have this ability, someone is more prone to believe you. There have been actual studies that have proven that people who are demonstrating confidence, which I'll talk about how to do that later, are more likely to be hired, because people with confidence are there are more leadership qualities, and they perform better in work and are able to take charge of themselves, and that they don't need to be watched over constantly like someone who doesn't have the confidence might have to. Another crucial part of the interview and the negotiation process is the handshake, and a handshake is down to a literal science. I mean, it is suggested that 2 to 3 pumps would make a non-awkward handshake. Any more would just be like, what are you doing? Any less, kind of like you're too nervous, so you're like retreating. And this is something you have to practice. Find someone in your household or a friend and be like, hey, can we practice handshakes for a good 5 minutes? And of course, you don't want to dead fish, limp hand your handshake, because it's total lack of confidence. You're just nervous. That's just bad. And you also don't want to forcefully do your handshake like a Donald Trump handshake, because that also displays that you're kind of overcompensating for a lack of confidence. And the thing I want to get to next is that it is so normal and natural to be nervous for an interview. Even people who have been in the career field for like 20 years have that same anxiety when it comes to interviewing. And nervous habits that you display, chipping the hand, making yourself small, covering your arms like this, and playing with your hair, are just nervous habits that make you seem very unconfident and make you seem that you don't really belong in that company or field. And from the recruiter's mind, it makes sense. I mean, why would they want to put their faith in you if you don't have confidence in yourself? You know what I mean? So it's just, you have to believe yourself to be able to do well. The biggest thing that has ever helped me, and I actually think about this, I'm not joking, every single day, is a TED Talk I watched, I think, maybe 4 years ago, and it was on confidence and how confidence is key in interviewing. And it's all about your body language. And they really touch on how it is normal to be, nervous, but they challenge you with the idea to, really drill in your mind that it is normal. Everybody is nervous. Everybody initially feels like an imposter, and they leave you with this quote. It's, fake it until you become it, not fake it until you believe it, or fake it until you make it. Fake it until you become it. Because studies have shown that people who fake confidence, and you might have to fake it at first, you might not naturally have it, but if you fake it, studies have shown that you actually become more confident. So how do you fake confidence? Well, a lot of your signs that you are unconfident come from your body language. For example, like I said, making yourself smaller, or crossing your legs really, really tight, And this is more natural for women in the field because they just, naturally feel more unconfident than men. Studies have shown. So what you can do to sort of fake it and push yourself to be more confident is to open up. Have a more power stance, and that involves, taking up more room. And I'm not saying to do this obnoxiously, but to naturally let your body expand and have a more powerful pose. And one of the things that the TED Talk suggests that you can do to help your confidence is to power pose. And so right before any interview, because this would look extremely obnoxious if you did it in the interview, but find a space where you're alone, whether at home or in the car or in the bathroom, and just take up as much space as possible. Stretch your arms out nice and wide and hold that pose for a good 2 minutes. And studies have shown that your testosterone, your confidence hormone, will increase, and your cortisol, your stress, will decrease. So that will help you walking into the interview, whether you're doing an interview for a new job or trying to negotiate a pay raise or anything. So once you have the initial confidence going into an interview or pay raise negotiation, there are also body language hacks that you can do to improve your likability and your confidence level in the employer's mind. So let's go into that. The first one is, kind of obvious. You have to smile, and it's very easy to not smile when you're nervous or when you want to seem serious. And I'm not saying that you should be smiling throughout the entire, negotiation. You shouldn't, because it kind of seems, fake. But there are moments where you definitely should be smiling, and it should be genuine, because that displays enthusiasm. And enthusiasm is so important to have even when you're in the most analytical business field, because it's your passion for a topic, and nobody wants to hire someone who doesn't even seem like they enjoy what they're doing. Having that smile will instantly draw anyone near you, whether in that, interview setting or in real life. That is just proven. Smiles are just an attractive feature. Another thing to increase your likability in interviews and in negotiations is your listening ability. And that kind of seems contradictory because, aren't we always listening? But I find that most people listen to respond and not to listen to understand, and that's what we need to do. Listening to respond is when someone's talking and you're just kind of thinking, okay, what am I going to reply next? What am I going to reply next? And you're kind of stressing your head over your response, and you're not even, listening to what they're saying. And that is so crucial in negotiation, when facts are very important, or in a job interview when you're trying to also see if you like employers yourself. So things to do to help your listening abilities. So number one, listen to understand. That's what you have to do. You have to practice. That's the biggest thing. Practice and train your mind to stop thinking and just listen. But there are body language techniques to also display your listening. Nonverbals to display your listening ability include nodding along, kind of smiling in agreement. A lot of it, is around the face and validating what they're saying, kind of like, yeah. Other than just a blank face stare. It's kind of awkward, Another one is to lean into the conversation. And you have to do this right. You can't lean over the desk and seem very, inappropriate. But kind of lean forward and really listen to every word they're saying. It literally looks like you're hanging on to the words. That's kind of that interest you're displaying when you're leaning forward. How to verbally display listening abilities is to recap. And you can't do this every time because it's going to seem obnoxious and unnecessary. But if someone's saying something really important about the job description or, their negotiation point of view, you kind of want to recap it. So, so you're saying that blah, 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 blah. Is that correct? It proves that you are listening to the conversation and that you understood the point. Of course, don't focus on your body language so much that you completely forget that verbal is a huge part of the process. You need to have your stuff mapped out, know what points you want to make, why you deserve the pay raise, what you have done to prove to your boss that you are a valuable employee that deserves more than they're making. And this is something that is, easy to just kind of ramble about, but you have to have a set direction and set points. And one of the biggest things I like to do is structure my talking points. And what I do is I have a structure of what, so what, now what. That is a structure that you can apply to anything you're speaking. What is the problem? What am I trying to prove? So what? Why is it important? Now what? What are we going to do next? And of course, your verbals can also display that lack of confidence, even if your body language is all right. And this is biggest in fillers. There are so many people. I am guilty of fillers. Pretty much everyone has it from point to point, but it is actually trainable to not have them. And your fillers include those are fillers. Those are not contributing anything to the conversation except displaying that you are nervous. And everyone's gonna have a point where they're like, what do I say next? I need a point to think. So instead of saying, I challenge you to just pause and then go to your point. And this is gonna sound, or to yourself, so awkward and like it's not right, but that pause is so exaggerated in your mind than it is in actuality to your listener. It's not gonna sound that long, I promise. The pause will give you a point to think and actually say a next sentence that is meaningful instead of just blabbering on. And also, to the employer, it kind of gives you the upper hand because you're kind of making them wait and forcing them to continue to listen. You have that upper hand in that scenario. So overall, I am a firm believer that you can actually train your body language and your verbals to display exactly what you want to communicate to your boss in a negotiation or even your future employer. And I hope this car lecture is giving you something that you can actually apply to your day-to-day life too. So thanks for watching, everyone. Goodbye.